the Rockets, the Warriors, and we expect a war. My turn, your turn, between Steph Curry and the Butler here. Curry, three. Oh! Curry dialing long distance. He'll throw up a shot. Oh, geometrically, that should not have happened.
Not one, but two closers on the same team.
That puts an exclamation mark on this Golden State win in Game 1.
Good stuff on the calls last night. We opened with the Warriors' big win, big performances again from both Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. And here's the good news if you're a fan of Golden State. When they win Game 1 under Steve Kerr, they are 20-1 in playoff series. You'll remember the only one they didn't win. It was the 2016 final against LeBron's Cavs when they were up 3-1, and then it got away from them. Carlos Boozer, Marcus Morris with me here. Let's run the floor through the weekend in the NBA playoffs. Celtics cruise past Orlando yesterday, but in the fourth quarter, Jason Tatum lands awkwardly on the wrist after being fouled. X-rays negative, but here we go. Let's go with this. Booze, do the Celtics still win this series easily, even if Tatum is compromised?
Yes, they got too many other guys that can get the job done.
Yeah, they will need him ultimately, though, right? I mean, if they need to give him rest for a day or two or a game or two or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, if they want to win a championship, you need Jason Tatum. But to get out the first round, they have other guys.
Yeah, again, the X-rays initially negative. Next, yesterday, the Thunder beat the Grizzlies by 51 points, which is the fifth biggest margin of victory in postseason history. So if I said OKC is going to remain undefeated until the NBA Finals, they have this series and then the winner of Nuggets-Clippers. Would you buy that?
No, even though as impressive as they looked in Game 1, they were terrific, checked off all the boxes. When they get past this round, the Clippers and the Nuggets will definitely get a win.
Yeah, you like the Clippers. I think that's a matchup that should be tough for this, no matter how it goes.
Great matchup.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. And then Saturday night, primetime Lakers run off the court at home by the Timberwolves, despite a hot start from Luka Doncic, who finished with 37. Where do you point the finger of blame, Booze, at the Lakers for their Game 1 loss?
I mean, as opposed to just saying, the Timberwolves did their job, but for the Lakers, the others have to step up. Only 13 bench points, Greeny.
13 bench points for LA. It's interesting because the Minnesota bench players, their quote-unquote supporting cast, all had a pretty good game, or many of them had a pretty game. My old buddy Jalen Rose always used to say to me when we were doing NBA together, and always sticks in my head, the role players tend to play great at home. That's where you count on it. This time, it seemed to flip a little bit here. It was Minnesota that got the good performance from the quote-unquote other players.
Yeah, McDaniels was probably the best player on the court last night, did a great job. Nas Reed had 23 off the bench. The others from Minnesota showed up. This is a series where everybody picked the Lakers. We picked the Lakers too. Mm-hmm. Minnesota has a chip on their shoulder, and they're playing like they have something to prove.
Well, we know that Shannon Sharpe has picked the Lakers repeatedly and always in rhyming form. He does it in couplet form, and he's got them winning in 5. Well, Stephen A. watched the game on Saturday night, and he was giving Shannon the business. Take a look at the tweet here from Stephen A. Someone just texted me with this message to send directly to Shannon Sharpe. AAA, NWA, I don't care what Shannon has to say, Lakers ain't winning in 5. So let's start, Marcus, with your thoughts on how well that rhymed. And secondly, I will ask you that ever-popular question. Was this a bad game or a bad sign, Marcus Morris, for the Lakers?
I would say just a bad game, right? The others just didn't come to play. Anytime you get 48 points from Jayden McDaniels and Nas Reed, something wasn't right in that scouting report, right? I just don't think guys were just amping up to play. You're playing at home in crypto arena. You just have to have more energy, like offensive rebounding, diving on the floor. The best bright part about it was Luka came to play, right? We've seen the Luka dominance, and LeBron James, we know how effective he could be in this series, but the others have to play better and not just making shots, but just with more energy, more aggressiveness, and better on the defensive end.
Well, you're not the only one who noticed that the aggressiveness didn't seem to be there. Let's put up the Magic tweet, because Magic Johnson, one of the greatest Lakers of them all, and obviously still so much a part of what they're doing in L.A., tweeted, Coach J.J. Redick did a great job all season, but he didn't do a good job for Game 1. The Lakers stood around on offense, played too much one-on-one basketball, and he didn't make any necessary adjustments. Booze, when you see a team that got beat to the loose ball, is that on the coach? Do you point the finger of blame, at least for Game 1, at J.J. Redick?
I mean, the coach's job is to get the guys prepared for the game. Once you're on the court, it's the player's job. In my opinion, the players got to make the plays. The coaches can put you in position to have success, and get you prepared for the game. But if I see a ball on the floor and it's you and me, Greeny, I'm getting the ball. Sorry, Greeny. That's got to be the attitude of the guys out there on the court.
Yes. Well, if it's you and me, I'm not really worried about it. I would bet on you, too. But in general, when it's one NBA player against another NBA player, I mean, if the Timberwolves, quote unquote, well, if they looked ready for playoff intensity and the Lakers didn't, is that a bad sign?
That could be a sign on the coach. Did you have your guys ready for the game tonight? Minnesota looked ready. The Lakers did not.
Right. That's the concern. So, Marcus, give me one adjustment. What's one thing the Lakers have to do differently or better to win Game 2? Otherwise, they are in big trouble in round 1.
You have to respect the others. You know, like I said, 48 points from 2 guys that's not named Anthony Edwards is unacceptable, right? You have to play these guys straight up and down. But also, listen, they did differently in the regular season. This is the playoffs. Everything goes out the window. Scouting report goes out the window. You have to come out. You have to guard your yard. You have to play hard. You just have to master the intensity. So the one thing I would say is be ready. Be ready to fight.
We're going to find that out. Meanwhile, Friday, we've got a trio of NBA playoff game 3s. We will have Celtics Magic starting at 7 Eastern. That's on ESPN. We have the Pacers and Bucks at 8 Eastern. That's going to begin on ESPNU. And then the Lakers and Timberwolves.
Saturday saw the Pistons go 0 for 10 during a Knicks 21-0 run in the fourth quarter, resulting in that 123-112 loss. So, David, how does Detroit bounce back in Game 2?
They really got to get Cade Cunningham going. He struggled in that first game, 8 for 21 in that game. Really, OG Anunoby gave him all the trouble that he could handle there. He was only 2 for 8 when OG was guarding him. OG also had 5 steals, 2 blocks. Cade Cunningham needs to get going. They've got to get some more actions, get some more movement around him. Even in the pick and rolls, Cat was up on him. And so they got to figure out how to get Cade Cunningham, the regular season Cade Cunningham that averaged more than 30 points, to get that guy to come back. But even still, they had the game won. So beyond what they need from Cade Cunningham, they have to be more poised, because that MSG crowd, knowing how they rattled them in that fourth quarter, they're going to be even louder in what is now a must-win Game 2 for Detroit. I was just going to say that environment at MSG is not going to change. It's going to be the same for Game 2. Clippers and the Nuggets will run it back tonight as well. Denver trailed by as many as 15 points in the second quarter on Saturday before completing the comeback in overtime. David, how does LA even the series tonight? They got to do something about those turnovers. I mean, that's really what lost them the game and lost them that lead. They had 20 turnovers. Denver had 29 points off of those turnovers. But beyond that, Kawhi Leonard had a pretty pedestrian game. This guy had been playing such great basketball. We've been comparing him to the 2019 Kawhi. He was pretty much absent for a lot of that second half. Only 6 points in that second half, a couple points in overtime. We were expecting Kawhi in these clutch situations to dominate and be the guy who Kendrick Perkins calls Kawhi Michael Jordan or whatever he calls him. That's the guy that we need in this series if you're going to win a clutch game with Nikola Jokic on the other side of the court. Yeah, 20 turnovers, that's not how you win a game if you're this Clippers team, but it should be a good.
Bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục đi tô màu để gửi tặng đến các bạn những phút giây thư giãn. Chào mừng các bạn